Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is so good to see you guys again. I've been getting a little bit of sun on my skin. I don't know if you can tell, but this can definitely show you how much sun I've been getting. Look at that defined line. That is gross. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm looking at the monitor. That doesn't look good. So I'm just going to hide that away. Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, it's super bad on both arms. This is so irrelevant to the content. As you could probably tell by the title, today we're going to be going through some of my favorite portraits, the Hall of Fame, if you will. I made another video that was about like the worst pictures I've ever taken, like on my road to where I am now. There's going to be a little annotation popping up right here, I think. I just hit the 10.5-year mark for when I started taking photos. So during that whole time, I've been shooting a lot of portraits, shooting a lot of landscapes, but portraits have been my first love, and it'll always be like my favorite aspect of photography. So during this video, I'm going to show you like maybe my top 10 favorite, not in any particular order, of portraits that I've taken. They're not necessarily like all models, they're not necessarily all weddings, they're not all necessarily like serious or funny. There's all over the place. So we're gonna be going through some of that. Let's jump right into it, I guess. All right, so I really love this photo. You're gonna probably hear me say that 10 times over. As you guys can probably tell, minimalism and a lot of negative space is one of my signatures in my photography. And right here, like with my friend Esther, when we did like a kind of a speculative fashion photo shoot, it was a really nice and sunny day. And this was an easy, like kind of a 1-2 punch because she was wearing orange. I could always turn the color of the sky to teal, so orange and teal, very like easy combo. Combined with the minimalist composition, this turned out to be really, really good. The way I positioned her hand was to try to get some like shadow formations on her face, but when I like kind of like step back and like change my position, I just really loved how this lined up. One thing to keep in mind for like shooting these kind of photos is that the horizon, pay attention because you don't want that cutting across your subject's head. It doesn't look very good because your eyes probably tend to focus on the subject's head first, or the face, so you wouldn't want that like harsh thick line going through that. So yeah, I really love this one. Minimalism, orange and teal, easy 1-2 punch. All right, so next up we have this photo. This is a way less serious photo. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but this is actually for a newborn baby shoot for a Korean family, and you know, the baby's not here, so I just kind of like wandered around the house like while everybody was kind of doing their thing, and I saw these two fine young ladies sitting right next to each other, and when I stooped down to like kind of take a picture of them, they like already got in position. They knew exactly how to look. I didn't even have to say anything. The lady on the right holding the glass like made sure that her posture was all set, and even like held the dog in the right position too. This was one of my favorite portraits because it just has like such a nice OG vibe to it. Like these are like really wise women, and like I guess like just the way that they're kind of like sitting makes them a lot more powerful, and made sure that the composition kind of accentuated that as well. And the lighting was perfect. I mean, like their outfits were on point too. I guess like Korean ceremonial robes are like tradition for these kind of events, like a newborn or like maybe like weddings and stuff like that. So yeah, this was a really fun photo because again, I didn't tell them to do anything. I just like walked in the living room, kind of lowered myself down, and then they like just got in position. So yeah, it has a nice, very like wise OG vibe. They're just exuding a lot of wisdom and power from this. All right, next up, you probably have seen this photo before if you watched my LA vlog from like way back in December or January now, so I'll link it up right here in another annotation. But this is my friend Rob Smith. We had a great old time doing a portrait session for him, another speculative fashion shoot. And the reason why I really like this photo out of the entire photo set was because I've been actually like hunting down this kind of composition for a long time in San Francisco, where there's like a long beam of like LED or neon light like behind like somebody, because I was really trying to go for like a nice leading line with my subject's like line of sight. And as you can see, like I've achieved that. Now what I said about the whole horizon thing, I think it doesn't really apply here, or maybe it does, you know, it's a whole preference thing. But I think that the light was so bokeh'd out and it's so like nice and soft that it doesn't really distract from the subject's face. In fact, like all the nice leading lines like in his like glasses and also with his line of sight, and then like a soft leading light of the beam of like neon light behind him. Just all goes together. It's a very directional photo. And while I was composing this shot, I made sure to shine my Aperture MC light on him in a nice teal color for, again, that nice like 1-2 punch combination. It's not necessarily orange in the background, it's more red. I think I shined blue light on him, but I like kind of manipulated the colors in post to be more reddish orange and teal. So yeah, nice complementary colors and nice neon lights, and the sharpness of the photo came out very well. This was on my 85mm lens. I think this was like around the first time I got it, so I was very excited to use that. All right, so this photo is super unusual. Probably something that you wouldn't expect. This was actually at a wedding, believe it or not. You could see the Star Trek outfit, but this was one of the most interesting weddings I've ever shot. Now, for context, the bride and groom, they're 65 and 72 respectively. And it's both of their second marriages, and of course, like, they're very far along in their life, so they kind of just wanted a more fun wedding with their friends, so they made it Star Trek themed. Very interesting, and everybody like played into that theme, down to like the flower girl like dressing up as like Klingons. No, wait, is that what they're called? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna insult somebody. Oh, I was right. Sick. Yeah, so this was a really funny photo. This guy is actually a bona fide opera singer. So he had an opportunity to sing for the bride and groom, and he didn't want to, like, you know, lose his fake ears, his fake pointy ears for, oh my gosh, Vulcans. Oh, I'm like 2 for 2 now. As he was like doing the opera singing, I made sure to get like a lower angle to kind of like combine like the light fixtures to go with him, because he's an opera singer. These look like marquee lights or more like theater lights, and I really like to, I wish I kind of had like his head like above like the border of the lines, or of the lights, I mean. And yeah, I think it would have been a better photo, but compositionally wise. But I think it's like really funny to have this one. One of my top favorite photos, because it's super funny and the story behind it is like awesome. So yeah. So yeah, that's just kind of a reminder that like when you go through like your portraits, like it doesn't always have to be serious. It could be like fun. It could like have a nice story behind it. So, you know, no pressure, no pressure. All right, next on up is my buddy Carlo. I did a car shoot for him, except I had him as a model too in the shoot. His car is a Lexus LS 400. For all you JDM fans out there. And I kind of got inspired by Khalid's Sun City album cover. You could look that up on your phone right now. The reason why I really like this photo is because I kind of wanted the subject to kind of interact with the object. That was poorly worded. But pretty much you can see that, like, since Carlo is in focus, he is the subject of the photo, and I wanted the Lexus in the foreground, but, you know, like, out of focus. And I really like this photo because of harsh contrast. I love high contrast, hard contrast, harsh contrast situations. That's kind of like my vibe. The shadows worked in my favor. I kind of wish that, like, he scooted over a little bit, or I scooted over a little bit, because you can see that his foot is kind of cut off by the front bumper of the car. I wish that like I scoot him over just a little bit to kind of like have that more like cohesion. But I really like this photo because, you know, it's a nice little relationship between driver and car. So yeah. All right, so next up is actually this portrait of my late grandmother. She passed away this year, like around late January, early February. And you know, compositionally wise, like, it's nothing special, it's nothing like out of this world. But what I really like about this photo is during like her later months of her life, or her last months of her life rather, she started to like lose her memory. And when I took this photo, she didn't know who I was anymore. She always asks like her grandchildren like who they are. She kind of forgot all of our names, which was, you know, sad, of course. I took this at a Christmas party that we had like for our family. Our extended family was there too. And I remember like kind of pointing my camera towards her, and she didn't know who I was. She was just asking me, and then all of a sudden she just like stopped all of her questions and just kind of chuckled. It's like one of those like grandparents chuckles. Like, it's just like nice and like hearty, and you can kind of just like hear the age in their laughter. And you know, I guess she tried to smile for me and snap the photo, and it turned out perfect. This is actually the last photo taken of her before she passed, I believe, if not, you know, taken on an iPhone by one of there's a lot of story behind her. She was like a Chinese immigrant, escaped during, you know, the invasion when Japan, like, you know, stormed China, and raised my mom and like her siblings. Yeah, she was a very powerful woman. I miss her. Wasn't super close to her, but this photo means a lot because I feel like for a second she remembered who I was, and it came in perfect timing when I like took the picture, so it means a lot to me. So yeah, one of my favorite portraits. Yeah. You probably have seen this portrait many times. I've like featured it in like so many videos now, like either in a split second or like for 5 seconds. But this has to be one of my favorite photos of all time. This is again Serena. You could see her in another video. I will annotate it up there as well. But the harsh contrast and just like how I like composed her to kind of poke out of the shadow just a little bit to highlight the white rim of her sunglasses and also like her outfit, and just you know blue and orange or teal and orange kind of coming in there in a more subtle way with the orange. But I just love this hard contrast, and it's like nice and soft. It just seems like a cover of a Vogue magazine if I were to like manipulate it just a little bit more. It seems so like so designer-esque, so like boutique-esque. So I just really love this portrait. It has gone down in my portfolio. It has lived there for a really long time. So yeah, one of my favorite photos. This day we had so many good photos, so like kind of like narrowing it down from like the hundreds of like good yields was kind of difficult, but this has to be like my favorite, with like a lot of like honorable mentions right behind it. All right, so this photo I really love for its location and kind of its irony at the same time. So this is my buddy Cole. We're actually old high school classmates, and I reached out to him when I wanted to do more portfolio pieces for my fashion portfolio. And this isn't like really like high fashion outfit at all. I just kind of like needed more like portraiture, I guess. The location that we were shooting at was called Alviso Marina County Park. And what it is kind of like salt farm, but for most of the year, like it's this area that you see right now is like filled with water. But we came at a right time. I think I remember like they only do this like during the fall, where they like kind of like drain the water, and then all you see is like a whole land of like salt. So I told him to like kind of like strap on an island shirt, and we were going to go to this location. And the irony of it is like, you know, with that kind of shirt, you would expect a more like tropical paradise kind of location to kind of go with the theme. But we went for kind of like a stark contrast. Again, contrast. Love it so much. It looks like he's on Mars or like some kind of desolate planet. And I like graded it to kind of look like that. Only leaving like a hint of his skin tone there to kind of look more like grave. And I really love this photo for its location and irony. Sometimes like when you do like these portraits, right, the location matters a lot. So, you know, think about that the next time. You can kind of tell that like one of his boots is like really dark compared to the other one. And the reason why is there's a lot of holes in this salt farm. So you can imagine that my boy Cole actually almost fell into one. And what I mean by almost is that his whole left leg like got submerged. So that was pretty bad. I should have managed that a little bit more, but he was like really chill with it, like almost too chill. Like, oh, I like didn't believe him when he said like, oh, it's totally fine. Because people say that all the time, right? When like a mistake is like, you know, done to kind of like diffuse the situation and to like, you know, reduce like the level of conflict. But I feel like, you know, who the heck likes a wet shoe and wet socks, like especially when they're getting like, you know, their portrait taken. So good on you, Cole. I owe you one. So Breanna is actually a friend of a security guard who worked at the coffee shop that I used to work at back in San Jose. And his name is Armando. He was a super cool guy. Would always come by the coffee shop, and like we would give him like a free cup because he's just so nice. Well, most times like I have like terrible like interactions or like terrible experiences with security guards because they always think I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just walking around. He and I like got connected, and then he told me that his wife wanted to do a photo shoot for her social media. So we like kind of went to a farmer's market in San Jose, and she brought her son, and she wore, as you can probably tell, like a very like floral top. And we walked by this tree that had a nice color palette that probably went with her skin tone too, which is why I selected it. The reason why I really like this composition is not only like for the floral like, you know, theme, but this was like kind of when I was learning how to pose people. So the pose that I was going for right now is a more like gentle caressing, as you can probably interpret from that. Very nothing like, you know, nothing out of this world. Again, it's because she's a mother of 5, I think. So I wanted to kind of emphasize that, kind of portray that with the posing, and have her close her eyes because, you know, sometimes when I like tell my subjects to close their eyes, they feel a lot more relaxed because they feel like the camera's not there, and then they can just like, you know, like kind of be in their own world and be in their own mind for just a second while I say like 1 2 3 3 2 1 and all this other stuff. So I love this one. This is for an engagement shoot for 2 of my friends, and I really like this photo, and I threw it in black and white because of the texture of the plant behind them, of the tree bush behind them. Focus on the contrast of the texture of the sharp, pointy background and the nice, smooth texture of their skin. It just like pops right in your face for all that stuff. And this was like one of my favorite engagement shoots of all time. They were super nice. We had 3 outfits. They were so great to work with, super duper nice. And This also lives on my website. My website's in the link below. If you ever need a wedding photographer or an engagement photographer, I can do that for you. Just hit me up. But yeah, that's like a piece of like the Hall of Fame of like portraits that I've done. I could do like a Hall of Fame of landscapes that I've done and other shots too. But here are some like honorable mentions that I'll like throw up on the screen right now. So now you've seen some of the terrible photos I've taken like growing up as a photographer, and now you've seen some not so bad photos that I've taken recently. Thank you guys for watching. I hope these photos have inspired you for your compositions, for your color grading, and for just like some ideas and concepts that you could run like with your friends or with yourself the next time you go out shooting for portraits. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment down below about what you thought about these portraits and like, you know, what you want to like pursue in the near future, because things are opening back up. So I think people are like a lot more willing to do like photo shoots now. So I will see you guys in the next video. Let me bring the mic to you. Peace.